Hello everyone, welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. I am continuing on with the series with using the Timeless Arrangements bundle. The last couple weeks I've used a lot of different elements in the cards, punches and dies and ribbon and bling. But I wanted to show you don't actually need a lot of supplies to create a super effective, really pretty card. So I am just using the stamp set. On this one, I've got a couple of colors of ink. I've got Berry Burst and Basic Gray, the same in the cardstock. So I've got two different colors of cardstock and then the Basic White cardstock, and I'm just using the paper trimmer. So no punches, no dies, just the stamps. And when I first talked about this bundle, I said I would show you how to use the greetings. So we're going to do that in this one. I've got a Berry Burst card base, a Basic Gray 5 1/4 by 4, a Basic White 5 by 3 3/4, and then scraps of all the colors. This is 2 inches wide, and I'm going to use it to stamp the greetings. So one thing that I noticed with these is I love the blocks, but when you're trying to stamp down, sometimes it can distort because of the shape of the block. So I'm just going to stamp this down and trying to line up the thank you in the middle. I have to be right over top of it to do it. So if I am out of frame, I will try not to be out of frame. But I find that using this flat paper pumpkin block instead of the one with the rounded edges helps me line up that little bit better. So it's like, I just can't thank you enough. And the whole thing's just a little canted to the side. So when I cut this out, I'm just going to have to correct that a little bit. That's good. I can show you how to do that. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. And making sure I'm in frame. I am. You can see I'm just slightly what I would call skew whiff, but I'm just a little crooked there. So I'm just going to I'm using my lines or the grooves in my paper trimmer to make sure I'm straight. And I've just trimmed that bit of crooked off. So what that means is now I can come in and I can clean up my other edges because I'm going to want to be square all the way around. Okay, so line up like that. And then I just have to square off this edge here. So it ends up being slightly less than 2 inches. If I hadn't stamped it crooked, it would have been fine. You can use your Stamparatus as well if you want to line things up perfectly. But what I need to do now is I need to take my Basic Gray. I'm just going to keep working on here because it's here. And I'm going to adhere my sentiment into the corner of the Basic Gray like that. And then I'm going to trim it. And I'm lining up my Basic White edge with the first edge here so that when I come down in my track, I'm going to have the correct distance. So there we go. Now I need to mat this onto the Berry Burst. So we're just going to park that in the corner like that and do the same thing again, except we're going to line the Basic Gray edge up with this line right here. And then again, this first ridge here, line that up, and there we go. So that's matted out. It's actually a little bit, I'm just going to trim it up just a little bit because it's just a little bit wider than I want it to be. So we're just going to trim it up. So there we go. Trimmed it too much now, but anyway, we get the idea. So that's how we're going to do that. Now we need to actually stamp the front of the card itself. So I'm just going to get all my little pieces out of the way. And what I did is I took the basic gray and this stamp from the set, and I just stamped it all over in all kinds of different directions, all different ways, just really very random. Sometimes if you turn the page, it's easier than turning the stamp, and then you can keep the stamp in the same direction all the time. But you can also turn the stamp around and go the other way. It stops you getting kind of a swirl thing going on when you don't really want a swirl. And just keep filling in those spaces. There's two different of these little vines, but I wanted the curved one specifically for this. Oh, and I've just put the corner of my stamp in, so I'm just going to wipe that off just so that I don't end up accidentally touching it down somewhere. All these things that go on when you're stamping. And everything works absolutely perfectly when you're doing the demo piece, and then you come on to do the video and everything quietly falls apart. I keep those mistakes that I make in. It's very rare that I actually start the video over again because it's stamping. You make mistakes. I am not perfect. So let's just do a couple more. Okay, so now I'm coming in with my Berry Burst and that little set of 3 flowers. They're all on one stamp, but I'm coming in and I'm just adding them to the background, not intentionally putting them on the vines, but kind of putting them close to the vines. And you can put as many or as few in as you want. Just fill in the spaces. Looks a bit like cherry blossoms if you did the berry stems in, say, a soft seafoam or even a lemon lime twisted, very bright, but you could make this as a springtime card. Good for Easter for sure. Okay, I'm just going to add those in. So that's the background done. And now we simply layer up. Again, not using a lot of different products. I did dimensionalize this greeting here, but you absolutely could put it just flat mounted on. There's no reason you have to dimensionalize if you don't have the dimensionals. So, like I say, I wanted to do a card that was simple in the elements that it used, but I'm just trying to decide which way I have to put this. I'm going to put it this way. But very effective without having a lot of product. You can flat mount this for sure, or you can dimensionalize it. And I am going to just, trim this off because it is a bit lopsided. There we go. That's better. I'm happier with that. I am going to dimensionalize this because I do have dimensionals. But again, there's no reason you couldn't just flat mount it. So again, not very many, just the stamp set, a couple of different colored cardstock and your basic white cardstock, and a paper trimmer. It's all the elements we've used on this one. And still a super pretty, super effective card. I'm looking at this space here, and it's a little close here and a little empty there. So I'm going to put the greeting right in the middle like that. And I'm just going to make sure that I'm square and straight. And there I am. So that is, as I say, super simple, really effective. And you'll notice this one's a little bit darker than this one. The inks tend to be a little bit darker when you first use them. As they dry and cure, they go lighter. So thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.